Welcome to another episode with us, and today we are having a round table. I am joined by my esteemed colleagues. Please guys, introduce yourselves.
My name is Unparalleled. I'm really excited. The fact that it's a round table, it means that we're going to bring out a lot out of this. And the topic, can't wait.
I can't wait, Nyapola. I can't wait as well.
And my name is Lavenda Otieno, and I'm also excited to be here.
Karibuni sana, you guys are a fun bunch. And I am excited to dig deep and delve deep into the topic that we're about to discuss. It's emotional intelligence. And in my heart, I wanted us to look at emotional intelligence from the angle of young leadership. And young leadership requires a bit of nurturing. And sometimes we do take for granted the seasons we are in. But we don't know the future. You are gonna be a leader elsewhere, seasoned, leading a bigger organization, leading even a bigger number of employees. And there are certain skills, or rather certain character traits that just really need to have been built in you. And this is the time, right?
Sure.
So emotional intelligence as young leaders. And my first question is, do you think leaders can be emotional? Do you think we are allowed to show our emotions about where we are at in life, or just, please?
That's quite interesting, because I believe that we are all human beings.
Yeah.
And emotion is something that we undergo every day. We have flaws like human beings, and we meet a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
It's about how do you handle the situation, how do you tackle the people around you, about the emotions, and how do you control everything.
Yeah.
We are human beings, so something with emotions, it's there.
Yeah.
I can't deny that.
You can't run away from your feelings, yeah?
We can't.
Lavenda, what do you think?
Okay, I agree with what Nyapola is saying. Emotions is something that everyone feels, be it whether leader, whether someone in leadership or just regular people, we all feel emotions. And I think the most important thing is just to learn to know identify your emotions, and to manage them. Feeling your emotions or expressing them is one thing, but dealing with people, relating with people while undergoing the emotional state is another thing.
I agree with you 100%. And I believe you're even a much more effective leader when you're self-aware. Tell me how that plays into your strategies as a leader. How do you, when you're more self-aware, how do you strategize to lead? How does it change? How does it affect your ways in leadership, Lavenda?
I think as a young professional, still at this point, I struggle with I know what I'm feeling. I can identify my emotions. I can assess them. I can know what's the cause. You can tell. But it is kind of difficult to manage it, which is what we are coming to, because to be able to lead even a small team, it doesn't have to be like a whole company or something that big, but just to be a leader, to lead even a family, you have to understand the people around you. So my number one strategy for me is always about understanding others. I understand myself, then I understand others. And that way it's simpler to deal with people, because I know how to handle the situation.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I have seen so many big ventures or big businesses go down because the boss is not emotionally intelligent. They load onto their employees a certain level of perfection or a certain level of performance without taking the time to think that, okay, these people are human beings too. They deal with family stuff, they have lives aside from work. And so they've not taken the time to at least, let me know, how are you doing? Be available to even just to understand that a mother could come to work, and they're probably single mother, for instance, come to work, and you're dealing with stuff at home and you just want to break down. You're not ready to do anything. And sometimes, that's that's not allowed at work.
Yeah.
And as leaders, self-awareness is important. When you're self-aware, then you're other people aware, because How are you able to give what you don't give yourself? How are you able to understand what you don't what you don't take time to understand yourself or interpret? And so self-awareness really plays a great role onto the strategies of a leader. Once you know, then you know how to lead moving forward, and it actually plays a big role in being effective, right? And I just wanted to ask, between emotions and your intellect, which one do you go with first when you're leading?
Okay, can I go first?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, I'll pick from. I totally agree with what you said before.
Yeah.
Leaders understanding their employees' emotions. But one thing I believe in is your leaders know your capabilities, and you as an employee, you know what you can do. So I think it's something that that's why we do have managers, supervisors, and all that to discuss that. So it's about, again, coming together to communicate and understand each other. And apart from that, I don't believe we should all understand emotions. It's not about the leader understanding you. It's about understanding each other. You can't make your problems your leader's problem, and your leader can't make their problem your problem. So you two must understand each other, and when it comes to work, there's the way emotions, like this, that's the bit of now managing them, right? So for me, when it comes to like picking between intellect
and
emotions, I think for me they go together. Most of the times, as a young professionals, the emotions overtake. Like you react first and then think, but you should think before you react. So for me, most of the time, I can start like going the other way, reacting, like I want to respond, and then I sit down, think, and now bring the perspective of logical reasoning. So that brings the two together. Like I have my emotions, but then again, a bit of reasoning them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, to solve my problems.
Yeah, sure. They definitely work in tandem, as you say. In order for you to be effective enough at workplace, or maybe as a student, you need to be talking about the quotient of intelligence quotient and the emotional quotient. These are things that work in tandem. They work all together. For you to control your emotion, you must be intelligent enough that to understand that this is the right way and this is the wrong way to deal with each situation. Maybe for emotion for yourself or emotion of workers around you. So these are things that go hand in hand. They work all together. Let me give you an interesting story that I read today of a worker who was sleeping at place of work, and the boss comes along and taps her on the back to wake up, and she wakes up kind of annoyed, because you can imagine you're in deep sleep and you don't know the extent that sleep could be, and she punches the boss. So that one brings the topic of emotional intelligence. You as a leader, someone is sleeping at a place of work, and you try to wake her up, she punches you.
Yeah.
How are you going to deal with the situation actually? Because of course, as a leader, you will be kind of angered in the first place when she's sleeping at place of work. She's supposed to be working, she's supposed to be tackling something. But again, as a leader, you have to understand that you come at place of work, we go through a lot of things as individuals. So you have to go and ask her why is she doing this, or try to understand what happened that led to this. So intelligence, emotions, they go hand in hand.
Sure.
Yeah. They do. You can't actually neglect one.
You can't.
And pick one.
Yeah.
100%. Let's talk about emotional scars, because leaders are humans, and a lot of things in life normally come from childhood traumas, things that you've gone through, and they kind of shape the type of person you are, how you perceive things, how you interpret things, how you analyze things. There's some people who simply just are not very empathetic because they didn't receive that growing up. Tell me a bit about how emotional scars are a hindrance to you being a proper leader. I mean, we know that already emotional scars require healing, but tell me, just at the very least, not at the very least, but at the very most, how deep does this go?
Very interesting, of course. Scars, they're meant to harden us let me say so. But it depends on how you take it. If you decide to heal, you will heal. But if you decide the scar can haunt you forever, because you'll be there looking at it, it's the scar, it's something that you can still feel, something that you can still see. It will still affect you in your the leadership position, because you find that every situation may be relating to what happened before. So you have to be, we've mentioned a lot of times that you have to be self-aware. You have to be able to control your emotions, for you to be able to empathize with others, for you to be, it's called social intelligence, for you to understand your surrounding and being self-aware. This is how I perceive my emotions when this thing happens, and have to know, I have to devise various ways of how to handle that emotions. Yeah, so I think that scars is something that is there, something that we can't avoid. It's related to our emotions. So we just need to devise a way to mitigate it. If you can't heal completely, we have to find ways to mitigate your emotions, your scars, and coming up with ways to control it. Yeah, I believe so.
Amazing. So I'm just going to open room for us to freely talk about intelligence. You know, it's a broad topic, and it's one thing we can't really finish talking about it. And emotional intelligence, even in us young leaders, we can agree that it's something that we continue to learn as we continue to progress in life, because in different spaces you meet different people who challenge you, who stretch your emotional intellect to a point that you recognize I've not arrived. You guys, please let me know, you know.
Sure. Picking from what Nyapula was saying, let's just say emotions, like when you talk of the scars, emotional scars and all that, it's something like, let me call it a lifetime thing. Because you might find that somebody was hurt at a younger age, and it's something that this particular person has been carrying throughout their lives, and you might even not know. So I think the first step, as Nyapula said, is taking the step to learn about yourself. Social awareness. You have to, not really social, but self-awareness. You have to know yourself, and if there is anything else you're dealing with, whether it's resolved or not, you should be able to know, you should be able to identify it. And once you know the causes of these problems, like we usually tell stories, this happened, that happened, you should be able to manage now how you relate with others, because already you know, because most of the time, if something happened to you, when you see the same thing happening to someone else, it will trigger your emotions, because you'll refeel the thing again. Like, let me say, if I was bullied and I come to another environment, I see someone else, not even me, being bullied, it triggers my emotions. So it's just you knowing to differentiate between you now and the other person, and handling the situation as it is, especially as a leader. So that's why we say you're now taking it personal. Kiswahili word say unaichukua personal. So you must know when it's not now about you, and it's about the other person, and just learning how to deal with that. But it's a lifetime thing. It's something we go through daily, and it's something we should be learning about. It's like self-development, personal growth, just learning about it regularly.
So just to affirm ourselves, how do we know we are emotionally intelligent? What do we look for? How would I know that I am actually not so bad when it comes to emotional intelligence?
When to know that you are emotionally intelligent, the first thing is to understand the environment you are in, and how does your emotion contribute to, how does it affect your environment. Being able to control your emotions in order to achieve a certain goal, that would be kind of the first indication that you can control your emotion. If you achieve the goal despite everything that you're going through, you know how hard it is to be a leader. You're trying to control a pool of people, and one is temperamental, and the other one is quite, doesn't talk a lot. And this one has his own emotions, this one has his own emotions. And as a leader, you have to bring all these people together, and you have to achieve a common goal. Imagine if you cannot do that. even where you are, if you cannot achieve your goals, despite you are someone who like to procrastinate,
Yeah.
and due to emotions, yes, you didn't do this, then you're quite angered that you didn't achieve that. How do you control yourself in order to achieve that?
But do you know even procrastination comes from emotional situations?
Yeah.
I'm procrastinating because I don't feel like.
Yeah,
I
it
don't feel
happens.
like.
Yeah, it happens, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
And then you
feel
become
like-
even more angry at yourself because
you
I
didn't
don't
do
feel like.
it,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
oh,
So situations, when you can control that, if you can achieve a goal, then I totally believe you are in the path of being self-intelligent,
Yeah.
emotionally intelligent.
Emotionally intelligent.
Sure. Yeah. And again, I can add that for me, I feel like it's a continuous thing because again, with situations, things change, especially when you come to generally life, not even work only. Things change. Situations might be easier to deal with today. Tomorrow they might be tough. The other day they might be even easier.
Hotter.
And every time this comes, you should be able to deal with each and every situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes emotional intelligence to deal with such kind of change in everything. Like there's that bit of you can't tell what's gonna happen next. So once you are able to handle that, like there's that change, you just have to jump in. Whether you are a leader, you have to bring like you have people looking up to you, but you have to kind of manage that and just go through that. Not that it will be without any, we say, hiccups, but you just navigating. Yeah, that's bit of emotional intelligence. You need it.
Amazing. So I'm reading something very interesting here, still from Very Well Mind website. They're saying that some of the signs and examples of emotional intelligence, and I think you've mentioned, self-confidence and self-acceptance, the ability to forgive past mistakes, the ability to accept and embrace change, just as Lavender said, a strong sense of curiosity, particularly about other people. How are you feeling? Are you sure? And then you look different. And
Things
Lavender
from
has
their
that. Lavender will always come and be like, today you look different. Oh, Lavender, emotionally intelligent.
Of course, she is a leader, so you must always get to understand people. What do they think?
Yeah.
She doesn't seem like she was yesterday.
Yeah.
Why?
I
What's
do feel
happening?
because I deal with lots of emotions. I just like maybe someone else might be in my situation.
Lavender, we should give you a certificate. You've done it. Feelings of empathy and concern for others, showing sensitivity to the feelings of other people, accepting responsibility for mistakes. Leaders should be able to do that. You know, sometimes as a leader, you're just like, I can't apologize.
Yeah.
They cannot just see that. I can't accept that I made that mistake.
Exactly. It's like rounding it off to the next person.
Yeah,
Like, it might be so and so did that for me to end up in this position and this.
But imagine it's so much strength when you as a leader can come down and humble yourself. In fact, there's so much strength in humility and the ability to manage emotions in difficult situations. You guys, I think we are coming to the end, and I don't know what parting shots, what things do you want to leave our viewers with, our audience? Paula, do you want to go first? Or ladies first?
Ladies first. Okay, I think for me, emotional intelligence is something you might be practicing it daily without knowing, because it's about, for me, it's about knowing your emotions, identifying your emotions, getting to assess them, knowing what's causing this. I'm sad, but I know there are times when we ask ourselves, oh, am I feeling so bad? You can't even tell why you're feeling so, But assessing the emotions and getting to manage them. Once I know what is causing my frustration, happiness, whatever feeling it is, I will know how to manage it. Because when you fail to do that, you'll be kind of, let me say, making people like it's like feeling like the people are causing your
problems.
Whatever you're feeling, you feel that some other person is causing
making me
it.
feel this way.
And at times it might be that it doesn't have anything to do with it. So you just have to really be self-aware and understand yourself. And then again, understanding other people. It's very, very important, because again, even to build relationships within work, at home, and everything else, you need to understand each other.
True.
So that's very important. It's something you can just learn about about like slowly just reading articles, like living it again. You can know about it, but if you're not practicing it, then
It's nothing.
it's nothing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lavender. Nyapola, do you have anything for us before we close?
For sure, like we said before that this is a wide topic and it's something that we experience every day. No one is left behind. You have to undergo through emotions. I want to insist that emotions, emotional intelligence and the IQ, they work in tandem. And for you to be productive in your workplace, in order for you to live a healthy life, because when you are not emotionally intelligent, there's possibility, researchers say that there's possibility that you suffer from depression, you suffer from stress, and it's health related also. So it's good to understand your emotions in order to achieve these benefits at your workplace, health wise, and also to be someone who is socially intelligent, understanding your environment, and able to cope up with everything that is around you, especially as a leader.
100. I also learned that apparently IQ does not determine how somebody gets to be emotionally. Like sometimes you normally expect really sharper people or smarter people to just have it together. But then that's something I learned, and it just came to my mind. But thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. I hope you've had so much fun as I've had talking about this topic. We may never complete emotional intelligence, but I'm grateful that as young leaders, there's so much room for us to continue growing, that we are not coming here as though we know. We're coming here just to talk about just some of our experiences and a little bit of what we know, but hoping that the future at least looks brighter, and the things that we know now is gonna make so much sense in the future. Thank you so much. I'd like to mention very quickly that we are at Kisumu Hub Lake Media Studio, and we have equipments for podcasting. We have very amazing services that will be written down below somewhere along the video. Thank you so much, and until next time, have a good